Hi everyone. This week we will talk about fluid electrolytes and acid-base balance. Here are the learning objectives. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to describe body fluids and distribution, explain regulation of fluid balance, list main acids and bases in the body, compare 3 types of buffer systems in the body, and summarize effects of fluid and electrolyte imbalance and acid-base disorders. What comment do you have for this saying? Life is about balance. Too much or too little could kill. This may sound a bit pessimistic, but in physiology, this saying is true when we talk about homeostasis. I hope you still remember this concept we discussed at the beginning of this course. It means having steady states or conditions in the body. All nervous systems are working every minute to maintain homeostasis. And in fact, technically, all treatments provided to patients are actually meant to return them to homeostatic conditions. In physiology, understanding homeostasis means to study the roles of fluids, electrolytes, and water regulatory hormones, the roles of acids and bases, as well as their altered states in the body. An integrated understanding of the above could help you deliver good patient care. Now, let's look at a case. Miss Lee, a 23-year-old woman, has profuse watery diarrhea for 2 days after eating seafood. He complains of intense thirst and weakness. She is treated with an oral solution containing electrolytes and glucose. What's the mechanism underlying the therapeutic intervention? Let's start with fluids and electrolytes balance. At the end of this session, students will be able to explain basic concepts of fluid and electrolyte balance, describe the effects of certain hormones in regulating water and electrolytes in the body, and utilize these concepts to explain the mechanisms underlying their imbalances. Our discussion will include fluid compartments in the body, intercompartmental water movement, regulatory mechanisms of body water, selected water, and electrolyte disorders. Let's first have a look at the distribution of fluids. Our total body mass is about 55% to 60% fluid. 2/3 of this fluid is within cells. The intracellular fluid, ICF. 1/3 of the fluid is outside the cells. The extracellular fluid, ECF. Fluid in the extracellular compartment is further divided into interstitial fluid and plasma. Water continuously moves among these body compartments. Water in each compartment contains solids that can generally be divided into electrolytes and non-electrolytes. Electrolytes may include inorganic salts, acids and bases, and some charged proteins. Non-electrolytes consist of biomolecules and metabolic products. These solutes are within a certain concentration range in each compartment. This figure shows the average concentrations of these solutes in each compartment. Let's discuss the role of solutes quickly. Both electrolytes and non-electrolytes contribute to the osmotic pressure of both compartments. Osmotic pressure refers to the suctioning effect of a solution of higher concentration on a solution of lower concentration. An osmol is the unit for the number of moles of solute that contributes to the osmotic pressure. Please note, there is a slight difference between osmolarity and osmolality. Generally, osmolarity refers to the number of solute particles per liter of solution, while osmolality indicates the number of solute particles per kilogram of the solvent. Be mindful of this when reading and understanding texts on fluid concentrations in physiology. Then what is the role of electrolytes? Electrolytes are charged particles or ions dissolved in the body fluid. They are important in controlling fluid movement, cellular excitability, secretion, and membrane permeability. We get them from food and fluids and from biochemical reactions in the body. To keep our body functions within normal limits, it is important that we have a good balance of electrolytes. In terms of fluid balance in the body, electrolytes have a greater role than non-electrolytes because electrolytes have a greater osmotic power compared to non-electrolytes. Why is it so? Because electrolytes dissociate, but non-electrolytes do not. Dissociation of electrolytes leads to more particles in a solution. The more particles a solution has, the greater is its osmotic power. Electrolyte composition of each fluid compartment differs. In the ICF, the major cation is potassium, while hydrogen phosphate and dihydrate phosphate are the major ions. In the ECF, the major cation is sodium, while colloid and bicarbonate are the major ions. As you should know, the ECF is also called the internal environment that must be well balanced to maintain homeostatic conditions in the body. Sodium is considered as the chief electrolyte. It drives fluid movement and creates a concentration gradient for the other electrolytes. In the study of body fluids, we generally make a distinction between sodium concentration and sodium content. Sodium concentration is the concept used when we talk about osmolality. Osmolality in part explains the mechanisms of excitability of neurons and muscles and the antidiuretic hormone, dependent thirst. On the other hand, sodium content is generally used when we talk about the ECF volume, blood pressure, and activation of the renin, angiotensin, and aldosterone system, and atrial natriuretic peptide regulatory mechanisms. These water regulatory mechanisms will be discussed later. Please note that baroreceptors indirectly monitor sodium content. The concentration of electrolytes in the various water compartments determines just how osmosis will take place. Therefore, if water is in balance in all compartments, the electrolytes are also in balance. That's the end of part 1. Thank you.